Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV. My name is John, your host as always, and I hope you're all doing well as I always do. Welcome to the live stream where we're discussing the West Ham transfer window. And guys, for some random reason, it's like a minute or so behind, so apologies on that. But I hope you're all keeping well. There we go. Yeah, okay. So guys, we're going to talk about the West Ham transfer window, because the window is now closed officially at least in the UK, and there hasn't been much information going on in terms of transfers in general. So this is probably going to be a very, very quick video, to be honest with you. So let's jump straight onto it. As always, guys, this video is sponsored by the channel sponsor 3retro.com. Please click the link in the description below that will take you directly through to the West Ham section of their website. We can purchase some really nice retro gear, guys, along with Admiral and Umbro, Clout and Blue, track jackets, polo shirts, sweatshirts and t-shirts, so go check those out. Any purchases you make through the link in the description below, the commission that the channel would normally be getting, I'll be sending directly on to Iron Supporting Food Banks, the charity in the Newham area that are helping those in the Newham area and also in the Essex County area as well that are struggling to put food on their tables in these very, very difficult times. So guys, go grab yourself a really nice retro shirt. It doesn't have to be just West Ham stuff. You can go and purchase any other club team if you're watching that as well, for that matter. And any purchases you make, you'll be helping out someone that's less fortunate than you and I. So what we're basically going to do now is we're going to talk about the transactions as they occurred in chronological order, pre-add-on value. All right. Because we do know that, that obviously we're all aware that Paqueta including the add-ons, is the new transfer record. But in terms of just purely money down, let's talk about it. So Aguerd was the first one to come in at £31.5 million from Stade Rennais. And as a result of it, unfortunately, the West Ham curse hit and he got injured in pre-season. So we don't know his full potential yet. We haven't been able to give enough details on there. So that's for anybody that's watching live or anybody that's watching the replay, we're going to stagger this a little bit, okay? We're going to stagger this a little bit by having two sets of out of 10s, okay? So, because obviously, as I say, some of the players we're talking about, we haven't seen them, so we can't say if they're a good player or not. As I say, we're talking about Aguerd to begin with, and as a result, so we don't know as such if they are a good signing or not. So, we're going to break it. So we're going to break it down into two sets of 10 out of 10s, or numbers out of 10, I should say. 10 out of 10, or sorry, one rating for the position, and one rating in terms of the player's ability, or so on. So, as we all know, we've had issues with centre backs. Ogbonna being out for the majority of last season. Bless him. It's great to see that he's come back. There's also Zuma's looks like he's carrying a knock at the minute. So there's a very, very good chance that he could be rested very, very soon as well. Jonathan. Hello, mate. There we go. It's going well, mate. Hope you're doing. As I say, give us your thoughts on the players we're talking about. You being a Mackham, only joking. You being a Geordie, then it's going to be a little bit difficult for you to go through this in the same vein. But as I say, for Aguerd, £31.5 million from Stade Rennais. It's for me personally, I think it's a very good signing. We saw little glimpses of him in pre-season. As I said, guys, give us your rating out of 10 for each individual player. So obviously, if it comes up live on the chat when there's people watching, because there's only 2 people watching at the minute, it's fine. Then we will go. But for me personally, the identifying the position and bringing in the play we needed, 10 out of 10 from West Ham. Aguerd himself, reserving judgment, so I'll give it a 6 out of 10, because he looked pretty decent in the pre-season, but it was just pre-season. Okay, so going to the next one, bringing in Areola on a permanent deal for £8.3 million from PSG. The first of 2 PSG signings, funny enough. But yeah, I think it was good. I know you're not a Macca, mate. It was a joke. That's all it was. But I'm glad to see you keeping up. But yeah, it's yeah, it's good. It's good. Areola for me, it's a 10 out of 10 signing. We needed to do a decent backup goalkeeper for somebody that's going to come in and progress up to the number one. I raved about him when he was at Fulham. I raved about him last season, and the club have done it. They've gone ahead and done an absolutely brilliant transfer on that, and as a result of it, for me personally, it's a 10 out of 10, and his abilities, 8.5, 9 out of 10 so far, because we know what he's capable of, we know what he can do, we know his errors as well, for that matter, which is why it's a 1.5 number lower down than it would be needed. But yes, it's, for me personally, it's a very, very, very good deal. Okay, Flynn Downs from Swansea on just about £9.5 million. Now we obviously know, we'll talk about the players that have left in the meantime. In a little while, but we're talking about the players coming in at the moment. Russ, hello mate. Hope you're keeping well. Hope you enjoyed New York. Very, very envious of you going to see the Ghostbusters building. Very, very envious of you going to see the Ghostbusters building. Jonathan says 7 out of 10 for Areola. Yeah, I would agree with that, mate. So Flynn Downs from Swansea, and Barry, welcome. Thank you for your comment, but keep it in time. What we're talking about. What a good window for West Ham. Absolutely agree. We're doing ratings out of 10 here, Barry. So give us your rating for Aguerd, give us your rating for Areola, and we are now talking about Downs. As I say, marks out of 10 for identifying the position, and marks out of 10 for the player's ability that we've seen. Now, as I say, Areola's been an absolute gem for us. He really, really has. But this guy's just Flynn Downs. Now, yes, okay, he was brought in to be a replacement, possibly long term, for the likes of Alex Corral and Mark Noble that have retired. Okay, but so from that side of things, it's a 10 out of 10 for identifying a player. However, he's the only player that hasn't really got any decent. He hasn't got any really decent any game time so far. And I've cut. Okay, all right. We've had 7 games so far, including the Europa League Conference playoffs. But for me personally, it's a 6 out of 10 because again, he played very, very well in pre-season. Very, very well pre-season. Barry's saying 4 out of 10 for Aguerd because he's injured. Silly man. Wasn't his fault. But I agree with. I said it was a 6 out of 10 because he was showing his potential. But 4 out of 10, totally understand where you're coming from with that, Barry. So give us your thoughts on Areola, and also as we're talking about Downs live as it stands at the minute. So yeah, it's, as I say, for Flynn Downs, it's a 6 out of 10 for me because, as I say, we haven't seen enough of him to judge. He looked cracking in pre-season. Looks very up for it. He's a West Ham fan. Swapping one defensive midfielder, West Ham boyhood West Ham fan for another. Top marks on that side of things. But in terms of everything else, it's a C+ basically at the minute. John says Downs have not of this player. I think I've not heard of this player for West Ham, so I've got to leave it. Don't know, John. Yep, that's perfectly fine. As I said, from you being a Geordie, that's fine. Barry's saying 7 out of 10 for Areola, 6 out of 10 for Downs. Could be a quality player. Haven't seen enough. But also, as I say, we're giving marks out of 10 for identifying the positions. Because you guys know, the guys that you know me for well enough, you know what my thoughts are when it comes to the board. But I've always maintained, be balanced journalism, such as it is, to say that when they've done something right, I will praise them, and when they've done something bad, I will criticise them. That's the way the world works. Well, it should work anyway. And so far, as I say, identifying the key positions and bringing players in, 10 out of 10 so far. So let's move on to Maxwell Cornet. 18.6 before add-ons, £1 million before add-ons from Burnley. Now, this is a masterstroke. He was very, very impressive with his performances with Burnley. Gave us some problems both home and away last season. If I remember correctly, was it 9 goals and 12 assists for a team that got relegated? When you got one midfielder doing that, you should be staying up. That shows the quality of the man. So, and again, obviously, because we need reinforcement in midfield in terms of the wingers, both left and right. And also centre forward positions, again, left centre forward, right centre forward. And from that side of things, I think it's really good. I think it's a cracking signing. As I say, 10 out of 10 for identifying that we needed strength in midfield. 100%. Cornet himself, from what I've seen of him, and I'm sure you guys will say the same. Hang on, let's see what Barry's asking. So, any positions we could have strengthened that we didn't, John? We're not talking about that at the moment, mate. We're talking about the transfer window. We're talking about the players coming in. So let's talk about that. John says Maxwell Cornet, 8 out of 10 for him. Barry says Cornet's quality. I love how tricky and difficult he is for opposition defenders. Barry says give a 9 out of 10 for Cornet. Yeah, exactly. He's proven his worth so far. A 9 out of 10 is absolutely spot on, Barry. Absolutely spot on. So, it's perfect from that side of things. And, that's exactly the ratings I'm going to do. Right, the next one. Tialo, I think you pronounce it. Kehra or Kehra, depending on your pronunciation. £10.8 million from PSG prior to any relevant add-ons. Barry says my question was about the transfer window. It is, but we're talking about it's a summer roundup. We're not talking about what we should have done. We're talking about what we have done. Barry, you know the channel well enough, mate, to say we don't talk about hypotheticals on this channel. We talk about actual fact. So this is what we're talking about here. Okay, so we're talking about players that have come in, which no disrespect, I'm not being rude. This is why it says it's a roundup. It's not where's West Ham gone wrong, where should we bought in. That's for other channels to discuss. We're talking about exactly what has happened. I hope I've been able to make that very, very clear. Okay? So, we're talking about Kehra, 10.8 million from PSG. So, yeah, it's perfect. It's again, because Aguerd got injured in pre-season, we had to bring in another replacement centre-back. Now, that's, again, perfect timing. 10 out of 10 decision from all matters involved in the board and from David Moyes. In terms of his ability, I think this might divide opinions so early on into the summer transfer. Into the new Premier League pre-season, because he's played 2 home games. He's made 2 mistakes, but both mistakes, as I said in the Man City full-time thoughts, and as I said yesterday roughly about this time yesterday when we were talking about Spurs, both mistakes he's made is because we've let the ball away, gave the ball away completely, and as a result of it, then it's not his fault. Other than that, he had a what's the word? An absolutely untarnished performance against Spurs, first and second half. One of the few players in the first half that can actually walk away with their heads held high. I thought he played very, very well. I've seen a lot of people referring to Kehra already as a Rolls Royce of a player, like we used to say about Rio Ferdinand. I totally get it. I get the praise. I'm absolutely loving him. I think he looks fantastic. So for me, so far, as I say, for identifying what we needed, perfect footballer, perfect decision, 10 out of 10. In terms of the ability that he's showing, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10, because there's obviously we need to have room for improvement. We're only 5 games into the Premier League, and we've got 2 Europa games, which I don't think he did play in both of them. So see what you guys are saying about Kehra. Barry says Kehra looks good. Rough time with a penalty and own goal. Exactly. Can't blame the lad really. 7 out of 10. Yep. John says never heard of this player, John, so we'll have to give this lad a 5 out of 10. John, sorry. Yep. Perfectly understandable, mate. Perfectly understandable. Okay. So also right. Jonathan, you should be able to answer this one, because we're now talking about Emerson Palmieri, to give his proper name, or Emerson, that we got from Chelsea for £13.8 million before add-ons. Now, again, we've been screaming for ages that we needed a left back. Absolutely screaming for ages. We needed a proper left back. Not only because Cresswell is starting to show his age now, unfortunately, no disrespect to him, but he's also quite error bound as well. His pace is off. It's going to be understandable. We've had him for 8 or 9 years now. So it is going to be a little bit of a tricky one there. But again, identifying a position that we needed to bring in, 10 out of 10. Doing it early as well, for that matter. Well, relatively early. Well, early for West Ham, because we're normally doing it about now, to be fair. But yeah, so from that side of things, absolutely agree with it. Emerson is okay. Granted, he's only played a couple of games, so we can't really. However, we know what he's like when he was playing at Chelsea. Wasn't getting too much game time from that side of things, but at the same time, from what we have seen of him, like for example, Villa away, that I was praising him on the watch along for that. Jonathan's getting a bit controversial. He's getting 2 out of 10. Give us your reasons, John, mate. Come on, give us your reason. I'll call you Mackham again. But yeah, that's the thing. So I've got throat lodgings in my throat. But yeah, this is the thing. Emerson, he didn't get too much time out of game time, but from when he's played for us, he's done he's shown a lot of potential. So for me personally, it's a 7 out of 10 so far, because we have to judge them obviously further down the line at the end of the league season. But again, with a player like Emerson, we know what he's capable of. Okay, so turning to the main man and the last signing that West Ham have made in the summer transfer window. Player number 8, Paqueta, £38.6 million before add-ons from Lyon. This is fundamentally brilliant because obviously when we played Lyon in the Europa League last season, David Moyes was looking at him straight away and was, he earmarked him then as a player that we need to bring in, and it happened. Yes, Lyon were very, very greedy with the money that they wanted for. It was a big transfer saga from that side of things, but at the same point, we needed a box-to-box attacking midfielder, as I've been saying for donkey's years. We always, even with when Lingard was there, I said we still need a proper box-to-box, and it looks like we've got that in him. Okay, granted, he's more of an attacking midfielder. He doesn't really go box-to-box in the literal sense, but he can play the positions we need. He can do box-to-box from his abilities that we saw, and as a result of it, I do think I say 10 out of 10 for identifying that again a weakness in the squad that we needed to do, and also for that matter, bringing in a very, very good player, and bar a couple of standard mistakes that players make on their debut last night against Spurs, Paqueta did very, very well, very, very well. But I'd say 7 out of 10 so far, because again, only played, what was it? He came on the 66, 67th minute, so he's only played like 25 minutes worth of football so far, so I'm not going to judge him. But I don't remember too much about him when we played against him in the Europa League, but what I do remember of him, stalwart player, very, very good. So let's see what you guys are saying about it. Barry saying, Paqueta, brilliant, came on yesterday and looked amazing, kept the ball in some really difficult situations, even when he lost the ball, kept chasing it down. Don't know, hang on, I need to adjust that so you can see the rest of his comment. Hold on 2 moments, guys. So that's the thing about this sort of technology, it's not always clear on what is what. So can we do it? No, it's not doing it for some reason, guys. Give us 2 seconds, let me just get some is that gonna make it? Yeah. Oh, that almost made it. Bit more. The first comment has been more than a few lines. More than a line, I should say. There we go. Perfect. Right, so let's... Hang on, just bring it a little bit more. Now someone's going to do, just to annoy the hell out of me, someone's going to try and do this for a live one, a big one. So here we go. Right, so restart again. So Barry's saying, Paqueta, brilliant, came on yesterday, looked amazing, kept the ball in some really difficult situations, even when he lost the ball, kept chasing it down, absolutely right. Bit of Tevez about him, I think, 10 out of 10. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Didn't write too much, mate, not at all. It's just getting used to the technology, don't worry about it. John's saying, Emerson player is not good enough for the Premier League, should have stayed in the French League. Still hasn't given an explanation why he says that, but okay. Paqueta was our player. West Ham pinch him off us, so he is a West Ham player. We'll give him 9 out of 10 then, John. It wasn't your player, because they're never your player until they're actually signed. You know that, John, but I know what you mean. It wasn't pinching. It was just the fact that, if anything, mate, to be fair, Newcastle were looking at the same sort of business that we were doing. But as we all know, agents will tout them round left, right, and centre to do that anyway. So there's no big shock from that side of things. So going to Russ's question he put in earlier. Good window. We'll talk about that because obviously we've got to come to the players that have left as well, for that matter. Never your play, didn't sign for you. Exactly. That's exactly what Barry's in agreement with me, what I'm talking about. So, okay, so total spend prior to add-ons, £163.8 million prior to add-ons. With add-ons, it takes it to around about 179 or 180 million, if I remember correctly. Second highest team to earlier this morning. Second highest team to spend in the Premier League. And we brought in more players than that, because I think it was Chelsea who spent more than us, but they had bought in 7 at that point, and we bought in 8. Technically 9 if you're talking about the Northern Ireland Junior, but he went straight to the under-21, so it's not really relevant to the conversation. So, as I say, all in about £180 million being spent, which, to be honest with you guys, wasn't that far off what I was talking about. Because when I did the transfer budget video that I did a few weeks ago at the start of the window, I said that 60 million being spent in the summer and 60 million being spent in January. So 120 all in. £163.8 million spent so far, but we've got other things to take into consideration. Barry says, colossal numbers for us, but really needed. Absolutely agreed, mate. It's one of the highest windows of expenditure we've done for a long, long time, especially under the two Davids, that's for sure. Now, players out. So let's talk about the players that West Ham have now lost. And it's heartbreaking to say it, but obviously we have to talk about it. Obviously, the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Noble retired. Nothing we could do. Fantastic player for us. Yes, we had his critics. I've been critical of him. Everybody's been critical of him. Some have been more critical of him than they should have done. That shows that they don't really understand football. There's nothing wrong with a midfielder passing left or passing back. Players have to do it all over the pitch. But yeah, as I say, so we lost Mark Noble. We also released David Martin as well, for that matter. And of course, Alex Crowd left, returned to his parent club. We also lost Fredericks and Yarmolenko on frees to Bournemouth and Al Ain FC respectively. We also lost Vlasic on loan to Torino for the season. Paqueta's now got his number, so that's kind of indicative, I should say, of what Vlasic's future could be. Let us know what you're thinking about that. Obviously Nathan Trott, it's not really that relevant to the to the starting 11 squad that we're talking about. Hello Helen. Helen's saying Cardozo was gone. Yeah, but as I say, he wasn't really in the starting 11, so we're not really gonna the starting 11 is not what I'm talking about. The men's first team, shall we say? So yeah, but yeah, he has. You're absolutely right. Issa Diop went to Fulham for £16.2 million on a 4 or 5 year deal, because he wasn't prepared to sit around and wait to see what his future was going to be. And to be honest with you, I don't blame him in any shape or form. So we made a sale. We sold a player. So the overall spend prior to add-ons was £147.78 million. Now, guys, this is your chance to give your opinions now on this. So, given the players that we've released and sold, etc., and the players that we've come in, do you think it's been a good January? Why do I keep saying January transfer window? Summer transfer window. If yes, give us your ratings out of 10. If no, tell us why. Barry says, no, I don't think any of these outgoings have been too bad. Losing Noble was always going to happen. Upsetting, but then again, he wasn't starting. Absolutely agree, mate. Completely agree with you. So, as I say, we from the TV deal and the Premier League positions and all the rest of it, we earned £143.3 million out of that transfer. But out of that earning. So we've spent more than we've earned, which is why financial fair play rules have been floated around the last couple of weeks. But that's also before sponsorship money, club shop takings, ticket gate receipts. I was gonna say booklets then for a minute. Match day programs, etc., etc. Of course, player wages, agent fees as well, for that matter. So we are in the red when it comes to this for a change. We're not making a profit. We've made a significant loss in this summer transfer window from an accounting point of view, but we won't really know what the loss is until we talk about the profit and loss report that comes out in January, February of next year for last season. So we get to go and know a little bit more money of little bit more to know where we were financially, what the money was available, what losses we were looking at. Because let's not forget, going into last season, we were looking at almost £250 million loss and in debt. So I should say, that's hard from that side of things. Barry says, best winner of my 50 plus years supporting the club. Loving it. Absolutely agreed, mate. Yeah, Jonathan says, Yarmolenko did a good job for West Ham when he was fit, John. He absolutely did. You're 100% spot on there, mate. So for the other 4 people that are watching, give us your thoughts out of 10 how the transfer window goes. Barry says, I don't really understand financial fair play. Can you explain, John? Yeah, very, very basic, very, very basic level of it, because it is quite complicated. But the crux of it, is you can only spend what you earn, right? So that's why I was talking about the TV money, Premiership money, etc., etc. It's kind of like but it's over a set period of time. You can exceed your income, but it has to be within. But you can't exceed it within a period of 3 years or 4 years, if I remember correctly. You've got to be able to balance the books as much as possible. Now, of course, this Kretinsky money coming in would have offset a lot of the debt. And I've said that before, and I'll keep saying it until we look at the accounts. That will offset a lot of the debt. It won't clear all of it, I don't think, but it will offset most of it. And the money we've spent is around about, give or take a few million, around about the money that's alleged that he put in. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see in that side of things. Barry says, cheers, mate, how long has that been around? City been dispatched in the cash for years. Financial fair play rules have only really come into effect properly since around about that time. It wasn't that long after City and Barcelona and all the rest of it were able to play fantasy manager or football manager or FIFA, whichever way you want to play, with real players, like QPR did when they got in money before it all went tits up, that sort of thing. You can't do that anymore. Financial fair play rules technically forbids everybody from doing it, but there are loopholes in it, which is why City and Barcelona have been able to get away with what they've been doing. And it's funny that Barcelona are on so much debt, the financial fair play rules start to be bent by UEFA themselves. So, but anyway, guys, it's very, very interesting that we've been in that situation, and it's totally understandable at the same point why everybody's confused with it, because people like David Sullivan love to hide behind it. Oh, we can't do it because it's financial fair play. Bollocks. You can, as long as you're not exceeding it for this period of time. And we've really got, and this is why I'm making such a big point. This is why I'm massively surprised that we've had such a big outlay when it comes to players. It really does surprise me because of how much debt we were in. So we can only really weigh it up until coming into late winter, early spring. So we will talk about that. It's not the easiest of things to do. I mean, I'm not an accountant in any shape or form, but I can add and subtract and all the rest of it. Not massively, probably no different than you guys, to be fair. Not being rude, but I'm no accountant in any shape or form. My GCSE maths was terrible, or CSE for Barry. But yeah, it's good hard work to go through those. It takes a while. It takes a good few hours to figure out what everything is in those accounts. But as I say, it's very, very surprising. I just hope and pray we don't have a knock-on effect in the year or so's time. I really, really don't. But it's good to see that we're making slight profits on players as well, for that matter. So that's from that side of things. For me personally, taking everything into consideration, the whole works, not just focusing on the little piddly bits that we're looking at. I say looking at the bigger picture, which is what this channel's always about. It's not just about rumours. I say we don't talk about rumours. I don't do any content whatsoever until it is verified that the player is having a medical, because it's 95% done by then, which is why I don't do any other little videos that other people do. And it's fine that they do it, and that's perfectly fine. I've mentioned that many times, but this is a channel where you come in for fact, not rumour or conjecture or anything else. But I'll say I really genuinely praise the board for what they've done. We've had a fantastic window. It's 9 out of 10 for me as far as I'm concerned. What would have made it 10 out of 10, you're probably thinking? For me personally, another striker. We've been needing 2 strikers on top of Antonio for a long time now. A long time. Even before we got into we got Allaire in. Even when we sold him, I said we needed 2 strikers even before we sold him in that January transfer window. We need strikers. We've got one. Let's hope and pray that Scamacca comes out. Of course, I've completely forgot to mention him. Completely forgot to mention Scamacca as well, for that matter. But yes, a very good centre forward. Is really showing his worth. So we're looking at pretty heavy numbers with it. Hopefully, he gets more game time as well. For me, Scamacca, identifying it. Apologies, guys. I thought I mentioned it. It just came into my brain now that I mean, there's not many people watching anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But look, just Scamacca, 10 out of 10 for bringing in a striker, and 10 out of 10 for bringing in the guy with his potential. We've seen what he's like as well, for that matter. It's just brilliant. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Barry says, never bothered with maths, better things to do. I know what you mean, mate. That's why my numbers were absolutely terrible. And Barry says, Scamacca, absolutely quality so far. Positioning is good. Needs support though. 9 out of 10. Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with you in any shape or form, mate. But yeah, so as I say, in general, we've done very well. Very well in this summer transfer window. A lot better than loads of people have expected. Yes, okay, there were players like Coletta Carr that we missed out on again. And also likewise, for that matter, there's like the Bednarak thing. Glad that Craig Dawson is staying. I feel sorry for the guy because he's got a hell of a family situation to sort out with his commute every day, so I get it, and it's just, it's a knock-on effect, and so we'll have to wait and see if we keep hold of him in January. We may or we may not. You never know. But just one last thing. So John says, good to see you again, John, mate. Hope to see you around again on here. Got to go to sleep now. Good night, mate. But as I say, you know where we are. There's live streams for games. You know that, mate. But yeah. Based on our transfer business, how will we do this season? JP asked Barry. I'm still thinking top 10. I'm not getting too carried away with it, because this is what I said earlier about we need to really judge these transfers at the end of the season. Don't get me wrong. We've all got a big spring in our step. We would be a little bit more buoyant if we'd have taken a point out of City. We'd taken a point from Forest, and and obviously we got the Villa point, which points which are brilliant. We've got the Spurs points yesterday, so it swings and roundabouts for West Ham, but I'm still thinking possibly top 8, maybe top 9. I'm not getting too carried away about it because there's still a lot of work that needs to be done on the training ground, and especially when you try and incorporate all these players in as well, for that matter. But it's a really good, as I say, Barry, we will come back to that at the end of the season when we're talking about things. So guys, thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate it. I was very tempted not to do this live stream. Because I thought, what's no point? There's no point, just do it another time. But because obviously there's no late drama, there's been no late drama, so no late drama signing or anything like that. But at the same point, guys, really have really enjoyed doing this, and it's great to have conversations with those that have bothered to watch. Back goes says, good point. I was very happy with Vlasic last year. Look how he turned out. Yeah, I know, mate. I know, as I say. But we were saying the same thing about Ben Rama, and looks what happened now. Now his third season with us now, and he's showing 10 times more quality than he did the season before. But anyway, guys, it's very, very late, so I won't keep you up any longer than we already have done. It's been great that we've been able to have this half-hour conversation together. It's been brilliant. As I said, for those that are watching the live, watching this back as a replay, put your ratings in the comments section below as well, for that matter. I'll be interested to see what you guys from all around the world are thinking, not just because those that have been watching live. Helen says, although I didn't want Dawson to leave, I think the club should have allowed him to go. We can't risk not having any cover at centre back. Helen, you're absolutely right, but we weren't in the position to do it. If we'd have bought in Bednarak or Coletta Carr, then Dawson would have gone. We would have let him move to Wolves or to Villa, wherever it was, but it didn't happen. So he stuck with us, unfortunately. I don't think we'll see much of Dawson this season. I really, really don't, especially with Goed being supposed to be returning back to fitness around about this time next month. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, guys, thank you very, very much for your time. Enjoy the rest. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday night, and enjoy your Friday. We will be back for the live watch along for the Chelsea game on Saturday afternoon from 2:30, so make sure you're around for that. If you haven't already done so, go and check out the preview that's available. Just want to say thank you to the Patreons as well, for that matter. You guys get to see the extended versions where I go into more analysis about the opposition players and tactics, and also what the tactics I think Moy should use, and what players from the starting 11 that I put in as well. That nothing's changed in terms of the preview content. It's just a little bit more going on top on Patreon. But if you want to become a Patreon, details in the description. But in the meantime, guys, thank you very, very much for your time, and I will see you very, very soon. All the best.